Namaskar viewers. Hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Teena Jha. You're watching Perspective. Operation Sindoor has emerged as a pivotal moment reflecting India's bold and uncompromising approach in its fight against terrorism. Simultaneously, it reaffirmed India's operational preparedness and demonstrated the pivotal role of indigenous weaponry in delivering a calibrated and effective response to Pakistan. In a firm and calculated response to Pakistan's offensive, India employed a range of indigenously developed weapon systems with exceptional precision and effectiveness. From the BrahMos supersonic missile to the Akash Tir air defense system, the operational success of indigenous platforms emerged as a hallmark of Operation Sindoor, demonstrating the credibility, resilience and reliability of India's homegrown defense architecture. To talk about the precision and potency of our homegrown defense systems and how they are powering our capabilities, I'm delighted to welcome a stellar panel on Sansad TV. Mr. Sudhir Kumar Mishra, ex-CEO and MD, BrahMos Aerospace. Mr. Mishra, delighted to have you with us on this broadcast on Sansad TV. Also pleased to welcome Air Marshal VPS Rana, retired. He's a defense expert. Air Marshal, always a pleasure to have you with us in our conversations. And Mr. SP Shukla, immediate past president, Society of Indian Defense Manufacturers. Mr. Shukla, long time, but so delighted to have you with us on this edition of Perspective. But before we begin with our conversation, let's listen in to what Prime Minister Modi said about the power and performance of the Made in India weapons in Operation Sindoor.
इस ऑपरेशन के दौरान हमारे मेड इन इंडिया हथियारों की प्रामाणिकता सिद्ध हुई। आज दुनिया देख रही है 21वीं सदी के वॉरफेयर में मेड इन इंडिया डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स, इसका समय आ चुका है। साथियों, हर प्रकार के आतंकवाद के खिलाफ हम सभी का एकजुट रहना, हमारी एकता, हमारी सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है।
Mr. Mishra, let's begin the conversation with you, and let me first congratulate you on what the BrahMos supersonic missile showcased and achieved, displaying credibility in the indigenous defense systems. So BrahMos has not just featured prominently in Operation Sindoor. We've seen it has effectively showcased India's capability and credibility to the global platform. For the benefit of our viewers, if you could talk to us about what in the first place made BrahMos the weapon of choice for this particular mission, and what specific capabilities of the missile, according to you, were most relevant in context of this operation?
Thank you. BrahMos is a universal missile system which can be operated from any platform, land system, subsea, sea and air. And for all the three versions, it can target any kind of the target. It can hit any kind of target, like run weapon storage systems, communication towers of enemy radars, their command and control systems. So this is a very potent weapon systems which is with our all the three Indian armed forces, Army, Navy and Air Force. This missile can travel with the supersonic speed of 2.8 Mach. 1 Mach is the speed of sound. So if we convert it into the understandable numbers, it's close to 900 meters per second. And just for your viewers to understand the speed, the normal speed of a bullet is about 450 meters per second. So it means twice the speed of a bullet the missile travels. Right. And the range is 300 plus kilometers. And if you integrate this missile to Sukhoi 30, then really range is immaterial. Because the Sukhoi 30 range is 3,400 kilometers. And if you do fueling, refueling in the air, then it can go thousands of kilometers. What is most important is the precision hit. the surgical hit, the kind of operations our armed forces can carry out using this weapon. It's just fantastic. It can pinpoint hit the target, you feed in the data, you feed in the coordinates of the target, and the missile will go. It's a real fire and forget missile. And the credibility, the reliability of the system is we have conducted more than 130 flight tests only to prove the subsystems, systems, and we have never faced any problem with it. Every time it has met the objective. So when this time we were attacked by Pakistan, it is the Pakistan which has attacked India on our military bases.
Right.
So probably our decision makers have decided that let's use the most potent weapon which can pinpointedly hit the target without harming the civil population. And I understand by looking at the pictures on the media that we have done our job. We have successfully hit the targets. We have successfully taken out their combat capability. And apart from this, this for the first time when this missile has been used by India, and it's an indigenous missile. We integrate the missile in India, and the trust, the faith our armed forces have now started reposing in our system, in our technical system. This will certainly change the defense business in the future.
Absolutely. So we have an Air Force veteran on the panel with us. Let's hear from him how much of confidence building this operation has actually had on the way our defense preparedness happens, and it's going to also prepare us for future challenges. Air Marshal, as someone who spent decades in the Indian Air Force, to begin with, how did it feel to see our indigenous weapons and systems like BrahMos, Akash Tir, also some of the drones like Nagastra and Sky Striker performing so effectively in an operation like Sindoor? And what stood out was the precision with which it was done.
Thank you, Teena. First of all, as a user and as a citizen, I'm so thankful for both my panelists. They are the one who have given us the products that we are really, really proud of. And we'll listen to Mr. Shukla also. But what we heard from Dr. Mishra, this is a wonder missile, and it is there for everybody to see, despite the fact that this was the first time it is battle tested. But what taste it has done! I mean, it's wonderful. We couldn't have asked for better weapon in this warfare, where we were wanting to just do a precise attack, do the signaling all the time, that we were not wanting to target anything else but the target that we are looking for. And the precision, like Dr. Mishra said, it just goes. It's CPs in just few meters. So that means you can hit precisely where you want. And we have seen the devastating effect of this missile. It has done wonderfully, wonderfully well. In those 90 minutes, the entire Pakistan shook. I mean, I'm putting my neck out to say that despite the fact that we hit almost 20 bases in 1971, but the kind of devastation we have made this time in those in the 11 airfields, I think it's much more than what we did that combinedly in those 10, 15 days of operations. So that is the kind of impact it has made. It has done the destruction, what desired destruction, so to say, and it has precisely gone on to the target, whether it was a command and control center or it was a runway or it was a hangar. We've seen that satellite imagery, the kind of destruction it has done. And it has done purely on the military targets when we have gone. There is no collateral damage, whatever there. Even those casualties that have been reported by Pakistan, and thankfully they agreed that their people were killed in this operation, and they were all military men, and they were all from whatever I read from the people who died in that attack, most likely in Bolari airfield, probably it was on a command and control center, because I saw the air defense weapon controller, one of the casualty, that is squad leader. So that means it was one of the air defense setup which was destroyed, and the casualty indicated so. So that means we have taken out precisely the target that we wanted to, and we have given the signal precisely that few meters anywhere away, we can, few kilometers away, whatever the strategic targets you have, we could destroy. So the signaling was perfect, attack was perfect, timing was perfect, and selection of target was extraordinary. So,
Mr. Shukla, yes, yes. Mr. Shukla, let me also, through you, congratulate every manufacturer who's been behind making and creating these weapons. Through Operation Sindoor, I think what it has done is more than show to the world what India is capable of. It has validated a lot of these indigenous platforms. So the question to you is, how do you now see it influencing and boosting the confidence of thousands of private sector players, the MSMEs, who are silently working behind creating such wonders?
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate your kind words to Indian manufacturers. Just before the program started, I was talking to a Marshal Rana that it has been a confidence building exercise which has taken last 10-15 years. In the beginning, user rightly worried, and I repeat, rightly worried, that will Indian equipment come up to the world standards, global standards? We assured, as association which has both private and public sector members, both large and small and medium members, more than 700 members are there in the Society of Indian Defence Manufacture. We all worked hard to build that confidence. It has been a step-by-step process. So that is item one. I congratulate Dr. Mishra, whom I have known as part of besides the DRDO review process, where many things are under development, many have been developed. When we look back, what has been achieved a lot, and it has been a great success of private-public sector joint collaboration. That is the key. No weapon system is made alone by one company. Somebody will be making the radar part of it. Somebody will be making the control systems. Somebody will be making the ammunition. Somebody will be making the shell. It's like a body, ear, brain, eyes, leg, arms. They all come together as one integrated system. And beauty of that is that large few integrators will always be there in the country, but they will work in step, hand in hand, with thousands of smaller companies, medium-sized companies, who will be supplying parts and components for that system. This is what has been successfully done. Integration is no small job. At the same time, the design and development requires precision, that when 20 people are making different parts and they all have to come together and match in one integrated, functioning, working whole, that is a great achievement. I would say hats off to all the colleagues in defense industry, and more importantly, to the user. Not only user had the confidence of using the Indian systems, Indian weapon systems, user used them so well, so effectively. You should know how to use, where to use. I think our armed forces have done a superb job. My congratulations and compliments to them.
I think what Operation Sindoor has done is that it has certainly marked a turning point in India's journey towards self-reliance, especially in defense manufacturing and defense technology. Mr. Mishra, with BrahMos now proving itself in real-time operations, if I could ask you, what impact do you foresee on its global perception, on its export potential? How do you see India now strengthening its defense diplomacy and global partnerships as far as the BrahMos missile is concerned?
The operation of BrahMos and the Operation Sindoor has given to Indian industry and organizations is that now the DRDO developed weapons would be welcome in the Indian armed forces because it's not only the BrahMos, but there are several other systems like Akash missile systems, the directed energy weapons against the drones, the drone itself. Apart from this, we have also delivered the electronic warfare system, communication system, and our Netra, the Netra AVEX. All these systems got integrated, and they have they have facilitated our Indian Air Force and Army, Navy to perform to their best. Number one. The second thing which is going to happen is that India, the government is promoting exports of weapons to friendly countries. And we have already got the biggest contract for export of BrahMos weapons to Philippines. It's almost 375 million US dollar contract. And I'm sure that this contract was with Coast Guards. There is a Philippines Navy, there is a Philippines Army. They are also going to take this missile. Apart from this, what I hear is that Indonesia, Vietnam, Middle East, then Africa's, South America's, they all are showing huge interest in this weapon system. It's very cost effective, number one. Number two, being a new entrant in this, we are very competitive. And we are offering the people, the foreign countries, the weapons which we have already used in our conflicts. So, and there is a Pinaka. I shouldn't forget it. The Pinaka rocket system, fantastic system. We believe that these are the weapons of peace. Just imagine, had BrahMos not been used by the Indian Air Force and Army, then we would have been fighting for months together to come to a conclusion. So Dr. Kalam used to say, the missiles are weapons of peace. And we have demonstrated that the application of BrahMos has really brought the early completion of our objectives. And we have come to some kind of understanding that, yes, but I want to tell you again that we never triggered the war. We never triggered the BrahMos firing. It was triggered by Pakistanis when they have targeted Delhi with their ballistic missile. So we want to convey to the whole world that we never started. We are peace-loving country. We want tranquility, peace, happiness everywhere. So these missiles, when we export, will certainly bring the peace to the conflicting nations.
Absolutely, you're right. And let me also reiterate at this point that what the Prime Minister also in his message to the world said, that India is a peace-loving country, but Shanti ka रास्ता जो है वो शक्ति से होकर जाता है. So we need to maintain that power and that self-reliant technologies with us as far as defending ourselves is concerned. Air Marshal, I'll come back to you, and because we are discussing how Operation Sindoor in more ways than one has enhanced the confidence of our armed forces in Make in India solutions. From here on, how do you think it's going to influence future procurement and deployment decisions, especially within the Indian Air Force regarding the indigenous platforms and weapons?
Teena, we are already doing a lot in terms of, if you see the government policies in last 4 or 5 years, it has been towards, Atmanirbhar Bharat, it has been towards Make in India. Almost 80% of our weapon system in air defense today are indigenous. All our radars today are indigenous. Our integrated air command and control system, which I was part of in development, is totally indigenous. And I must bring in here, when we were developing IACCS, that time, its cost in the world market was 100 times more than what we, and that was the precise reason. Thanks to the Air Force leadership, we decided that we will make it indigenously. And well, we made it, and today it was there on display. It was the brain behind all these operations. every single thing of that is indigenous. We had almost 16 sub vendors, again, Indian companies. I'm talking about 2009, 10, and this system has been evolved over the time and finally has come to the full fruition in 2015. We've been using it from 2010. So the entire thing in this was we had nothing to refer to. This was purely indigenous effort. We had an Air Force team along with the Bell scientists. I worked there for almost 3 years in building up this system and operationalizing this system. So the kind of faith and this thing that you have on indigenous system is only growing with the kind of systems that we have in aircrafts. You have helicopter fleet is almost totally indigenous. Tejas is there, which is now going to going to be our one of the main aircraft. So are our missile systems. Your MRSAM was also built by DRDO along with the thing. So it has been also built in collaboration. So almost 80% of your weaponry of air defense today, from sensor to command and control systems to the effectors and missiles and AD guns, and now even the drone, anti-counter drone systems, they are all indigenous. And I'm sure after this, there is not only going to be demand, we in any case are using it in a large number. Now that confidence would be boosted further, that this is now a battle-proven system. Every system of it was in use, while the devastating effect was done by the BrahMos. But mind you, behind the scene, there are a whole lot of other systems which are at work. It was the visible end that we saw the BrahMos landing up there. But you think of the command and control system, think of the AD systems that were working back end, think of all the communication systems that were working back end. I'm sure there were a lot of space intelligence that was coming in. So there are a whole lot of these systems that were at work, and large number of these are indigenous. So we should feel really proud today that in this conflict, almost our entire indigenous might was at display. And how? I mean, we succeeded.
Absolutely. So very rightly said, because a lot of these indigenous systems and platforms, Mr. Shukla, it was their debut live operation, and we can now tell the world that it's actually been tested in a situation like a war. So, but having said that, let me come to the point that we are also a country that creates opportunity during crisis. We've done that effectively during COVID. We've done that even during the geopolitical shifts. We've put the nation's interests first. And this time as well, how do you see Operation Sindoor now opening new doors, perhaps creating fresh momentum for Indian manufacturers to innovate and scale up, especially in mission-critical technologies? And in doing so, what kind of support structures do you need to take advantage of the momentum that has been created by Operation Sindoor?
You are quite right, Mishra. If I make a general statement first, I see Indian defense industry as the fifth arm of our defense forces. First three are well known. Everybody talks about air, navy, and land. There is fourth arm, which is strategic forces. Generally, nuclear and space you club under them. The fifth arm of any country in its defense, it's its own defense industry. At the time of war, if you are waiting for a consignment of drones, consignment of missiles coming from a third country, and we know the examples which happened for our neighbor, that is not a very healthy situation. If you need spare parts in the middle of the war and others refuse to supply, what are you going to do? It is actually a fifth arm of the defense forces, which has to work hand in hand with the user, actual user, and R&D organizations. Now I come to impetus. I totally agree with you. Operation Sindoor and the success of indigenous equipment, including BrahMos, has given a great impetus. Entire sector, yesterday I attended one meeting of the defense industry. Entire sector is looking at what new activities, what new areas which can be explored. increasingly what is happening is that IT, artificial intelligence, directed energy weapons, they are becoming increasingly a large part of the arsenal of any country. So while traditional focus on land-based war has always been there, when you have tanks from the both sides, or Navy, where you have battleships and aircraft carriers from both sides, or Air Force, where you have fighters, bombers, helicopters from both sides. Increasingly, the new sectors are coming up which are going to broaden the technology space where we will have to be prepared. And this is what players in the industry, both existing players as well as new players, will focus on. And this is where we come to a very important part. It is becoming a combination of offense and defense. It is not enough to have only offensive capability of your defense forces. It is equally important that we have ability to defend and stop the incoming attack vehicles from an enemy nation. Incoming has to be stopped because as we move forward in developing our offensive capability, others can either develop or acquire. To counter that, defense is very important. Right. So defensive capability in terms of stopping the incoming drones, incoming missiles, and I would say that India has done an exemplary job in Operation Sindoor of stopping incoming products also from our in the conflict. So impetus is real. Impetus will be on high-tech fields. Impetus will be on filling up whatever space is there between two different systems so that we have an integrated running continuum of capabilities. Okay. I will stop here.
Okay, to wrap up the conversation very quickly, Mr. Mishra, if I could ask you a related question on how we can capitalize on the momentum that Operation Sindoor has created, on the confidence that we see in not just the population but also our armed forces in using indigenous systems. And what's remarkable is that these systems, which were once seen as aspirational, are today delivering outcomes on the front line. How do you now see our scientists, our manufacturers, perhaps taking it forward, innovating, scaling up in the times to come? What is your message to the next generation of engineers who are now building beyond BrahMos to deal with the futuristic challenges?
Thank you. Very interesting question. You see, the first thing I would like to reiterate that now the armed forces are going to have confidence and trust on the indigenously developed weapons, sensors, and soldier-centric systems. Very important. Now the DRDO is also motivated to undertake the development of next generation of technologies and systems to meet the armed forces requirement. And now the youngsters who were all the time thinking only about the IT jobs, who were thinking of maybe migrating or maybe thinking of getting into the selling of the products like soap and other things. So they would think of making their career in the defense technology. And the young minds are very curious. So they would come up with the newer solutions. They would also bring the knowledge, the muscles on the table. And it is very good for the Indian industry. I would like to thank the supply chain of BrahMos. I don't want to name a single or 2, 3, 4 companies because we had almost 200 vendors in the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 sections. So everybody has worked with us. I want to tell one more thing to the people who are in the defense industry, who have interest in the defense industry, that almost 50 to 60% of the cost goes into the testing and certification because you have to test it for wide variety of parameters. The certification process is difficult. So the design and manufacturing initially is very low, but over a period of time, when we have the numbers, the cost of the weapon system comes down. So the armed forces also should increase the number. Instead of ordering 120, 125 Arjun tanks, they should order 500,000. When it comes to ordering the missiles like one squadron, two squadron, if they can give us the order for 10 squadrons, 20 squadrons, then we can always bring down the cost of the missiles and other equipments. So I'm sure that this conflict has given confidence so that we will have increased orders. We also would have the vendors who would be willing to come into the picture, make the investment and wait for the result. And the academicians, the many more students, professors, they would start taking interest in the projects related to the defense technology. Very important for our country to have more and more scientists, more and more engineers, more technologists, more skilled manpower. So these are the changes going to take place in our system.
Absolutely, you're right. And let's hope that the lessons and the experience from Operation Sindoor perhaps acts as a catalyst of change and the transformation that we want to witness as far as the area of defense technology is concerned, because it's important for us to be prepared for any kind of eventuality given our geography and the varied challenges that India faces in the geopolitical scenario. So that having been said, we'll have to wrap up the program. Time allows us to take up only that much on this edition of Perspective. Thank you once again, gentlemen, for joining us on Sansad TV, sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers. To you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.